I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Gary Webb. I am an investigative journalist, and in 1996, I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking.
I knew a man who once said death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
We've both been skull and bone, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest.
Number 322.
I sad duty to report this afternoon that my friend and colleague, Tim Russert, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
I may die in this cell tonight or in the arena tomorrow. I am a slave. What possible difference can I make?
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Already Dead with myself, Austin Picard of the Underclass Podcast. So we are down one schizo bro. Well, actually two, because Jacob's not with us either tonight, but he'll be back next week. He's just in the midst of moving and everything. But yeah, Jose should join us around the intermission point, I think, around halfway through like last week. But I think he had an obligation as a father, which nothing but love for. Yeah. Oh, show up, bro. And I'm just playing. But anyway, so here we are with my brother Brad Binkley from the Propaganda Report podcast. So what's up, my friend? How you doing?
Man, I'm happy to be a schizo bro for the evening.
Hell yeah. No, it's only natural. I mean, clearly we have another show called Whatever This Is with our brother Sam Tripoli, and it's one of the most enjoyable, I think, opportunities and experiences that I have on a weekly basis, just to, I don't know, kind of meet at the table and fundamentally work through ideas while also keeping it light at certain times and having some fun, which is absolutely necessary.
We'll balance the darkness with the ridiculousness.
Yeah, and
times.
I think
no judgment. There's no judgment.
Exactly, which is really, I think, what I appreciate most is, as I've said many times, just the concept of objectively pursuing the truth with an open mind and honestly considering new ideas while being willing to reflect on your own on a daily basis will only lead you into a better position, I think, intellectually, psychologically, just as well as offering you an opportunity to continue to manufacture and keep that defense mechanism in its proper position, so you won't fall for that next layer of propaganda in the midst of the fog of war, which we are very much in at this current moment. And I mean, what was it?
Mm-hmm.
4 to 5 weeks?
Like very literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yes.
And what was the initial projection? I think it was 4 to 5 weeks to flatten the curve, Brad? Is that what it was?
I don't know, but I'm sure there's a lot of money on Poly Market. I'm kicking myself for not putting the when will the Iran war launch, because I had a suspicion. I didn't put any money down, but then you're betting on war, so that's also it's a moral conflict.
Exactly. Yeah, blood money, and I think it is just another example of manufacturing consent in the context of just a ridiculous what will only inevitably become a staggering statistical number of loss of life, and just in terms of the overall consequences of I mean, civilian casualties are already mounting, and this is something that people aren't willing to acknowledge, and the numbers are always very skewed and difficult to get a firm grasp on, and that is also by design and in that very fog of war, I think. But it's unfortunate to just witness the war drums beating once again, and people falling into position and taking the really the strategic and deliberate. It's very much a deceptive technique that they have recycled so often that we should be able to see through it by now.
Well, so they're recycling it, not to interrupt, but they're recycling it. And this is what Trump's the great rebrander of things. And that's what he does. That's what he's always done. They acknowledge and they're aware of what his appeals were when he was campaigning and what his base, some of them anyway, don't like about the previous wars. And they've kind of like hit that head on with this one. So the narrative anyway is that they didn't do a big propaganda build up beforehand to win public consent. They just, hit first, ask questions later. They did do a little bit of build up actually. So that's not exactly the truth. But like we were talking about before the show, what they seem to be doing is throwing out all these different explanations from these different people, testing public opinion, and they're confident in their ability to shift people en masse so quickly now, which they're capable of with the way everybody's connected, that they just find the talking point that sticks right. And then that'll end up being the one that they go with, and they can write the others off. And to that point also, it's not a forever war. They know that nobody wants to. It's a few weeks maybe war.
Which they're already walking back, right?
It's not starting a new war. Trump said it's finishing a war Biden already started.
Right, which
so they're hitting those talking points with these explanations.
And they're doing just a very effective job at, I think, layering them into public consciousness almost subconsciously in a way, because most people aren't engaging with the media cycle and the propagandistic nature of these political puppets. In the way in which I think the vast majority of this audience and people like ourselves attempt to on a daily basis. So they are far more vulnerable, as far as just the general public. And so I see some of these narratives taking shape and very much, I would say it's a convenient position to be in when you're attempting to just confirm your own bias through this ideological lens, and that's what we consistently see, right? So, as far as what are you laughing at? I saw your smile, Brad.
I just saw in the comments. Finlander said we both suck. I know who that is.
Hey. Look, all I know is that I can't even stream to my own channel tonight. So I'm trying.
I got us on YouTube. I got us going on YouTube.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
So we'll be kicked off by
yeah, exactly.
I can't believe you got kicked off for calling somebody a faggot retard, which I literally do all the time.
Well, yeah, and what's ridiculous to me is that it was kind of ironic in the context, just understanding the way in which I effectively received this strike, and I think that the claim was that we violated the harassment policy or something, and the any sort of content that targets someone with prolonged insults or slurs based on their intrinsic attributes isn't allowed on YouTube. I thought it was so funny because the way that they actually described this, and again, this is an episode from 2 months ago, right? That this effectively has now come back around to cause a problem. But understanding the context of the story and the case that we were actually presenting on the show, it was the moment in which this individual from Saskatoon, Brandon Taylor Moore, I believe was his name, was charged with, in December of last year, he was charged with inciting hatred basically online, right? Through he was inciting hatred online through his digital footprint and his social media platform, including X, right, which they claimed was willfully promoting anti-Semitism by condoning and denying or downplaying the Holocaust. So,
well, thank God they finally got someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Is my mic better? Because somebody said my mic was coming in low. I just want to make sure that the audience was hearing it again.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good to me. But yeah, I just thought, realizing that the conditions of his release, whenever he was originally arrested, and by the way, whenever they did arrest him, they originally received complaints, the Saskatoon police, and investigated those complaints. And apparently they received those very complaints from a Jewish human rights organization named B'nai Brit, which the director of this organization, his name was Richard Robertson. And so the point is that he was attempting to legitimately have this become a pretext of some kind, right? And I think that was achieved. And so what inevitably took place is that he's charged with, at least he's charged for the anti-Semitic comments he made online, which was inciting hatred, which was the original charge. But then there was an unsafe storage of a firearm charge that he also received during the arrest. So in Canada, they can effectively, obviously violate your ability to, just own a firearm in general.
Apparently based on mind reading.
Yeah.
Mind reading intent.
Dude. And even in just as far as in the privacy of your own home, if you do not apparently store your firearm in a specific way that meets these, whatever.
You have to shove it in your ass up there or what?
Apparently. And so this is another charge that they added, so additional charge that he had to endure. And now when he goes to court in January, so I'm honestly glad that I was pushed, or at least I don't know, kind of influenced to go back down this rabbit hole for a brief moment just to see if there was an update on the case. And it turns out this Saskatoon man was not only was he basically forced into no longer having an online footprint whatsoever, because whenever he was released, the conditions of the release included a ban on social media entirely. So not just social media, though, a ban on publishing or posting anything on the internet.
Yeah. Okay. So that broadens the definition of social media. This is a model being set, it sounds like.
Exactly. And so one other condition was that he stay outside a 1 block radius of any Jewish community center. And,
is there children? It's like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Mm-hmm. That's so crazy, dude. And it's gonna happen here possibly.
Yeah, that was the whole reason why I brought it up, because I felt like this is why I have
a problem with Candace, and you can't have a problem. You can't talk about Candace because they call you an anti-Semite or 7K shill, and I'm obviously neither of those.
Right.
I dislike what she's doing for a different reason. She clearly loves the UK more than the US if you listen to her show, which I listen to all of her shows because I'm convinced that most people who support her do not, because they only support the clips they're hearing and the overarching narrative of the exposure on Israel and the Jews, which is fine. Like I have no problem questioning the Jews, but I've even had people tell me, I understand she's using deceptive tactics, but I'm okay with it because of the overarching exposure it's getting. Well, maybe you better make sure you know the things she's doing in between, is what I told them, because the things she's doing in between are gonna ensure that none of us can ever question Bibi Netanyahu and Israel on social media again. And this is an example of it up in Canada.
Exactly.
And you read that document, that 200-page Macron document, it's not just the accusations of her being a man. You could take that one out. There's 8 other accusations. She's going to lose that case. She is going to lose that case, and my prediction is she'll move up to the UK. She's got tens of millions of dollars, and it doesn't matter. I don't know if she's an operative or just doesn't care. I know she's been a grifter. I've been following her grift for years, and TPUSAs. They're all grifters to me. I don't like any of them, just to be clear for your audience. I don't like any of them, and so like we just have to be careful who we give power to, because we're going to usher in our own demise with what we support.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. And I think that was the entire purpose of even bringing this case to the show, was that we're reaching a point of no return where these precedent setting operations will come full circle. And this will become systematically entrenched. And you think this will only be isolated to Canada, man, you are just, again, I feel like you're just now catching up, and you're waking up too late, and you're yet to just effectively identify the true agenda playing out here. And so the point that I was attempting to make was just, this is a very slippery slope. And in no way do I imagine a world in which this doesn't inevitably apply to the United States as a violation for the First Amendment, and this anti-Semitism becoming that very justification, which I think it has. In many cases we can point to, it seemingly is being used for that very purpose.
Dude, this is why I tell people to read a lawsuit that Macron has against them, because it's a 200-page document that's filled with real conspiracies, and then some that are just so easy to make us all look ridiculous. And so it's like, oh, she questioned the COVID vaccine. And then they tie that together with stuff like unprovable stuff. She said he was a specific person in MK Ultra, which they can, these are things that can be disproven. And when you read the argument they're making, pretty confident Candace will lose that case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will say it. If she's right about everything, I will happily say you're still a grifter and you were right this time, is what I would say.
Right.
But I'm not a lawyer. I did go to law school, so I've experience with this type of stuff. I like reading these documents and these claims that are being made. But they tie together very intentionally the real conspiracies with the ones that they say these are anti-Semitic hate speech, so therefore all the conspiracies she spreads are anti-Semitic hate speech. So this is how everything, you question the vaccine, that's anti-Semitic. And so that's where I see this going if we're not careful.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I mean, I know people personally who, I went through the threads of the tweets that this individual had allegedly made on his profile that were so horrific to the Jewish community, right? And it's basically just one of our buddies that you can pull up any any one of our friends on Twitter and see something probably worse.
Right.
It was kind of crazy. I mean, one was like, Jews poisoning wells isn't conspiracy theory. Neither is Jews using biological warfare. It's the truth, and I can prove both objectively, and then have a thread attached to it. But things like this, right? Absolute proof that Zionists are changing the Bible. It makes my blood boil. Check the thread. Things of that nature. In no way was he calling for violence against Jews or anything to that effect.
Right.
And so it just becomes this opportunistic avenue that they will very much exploit as far as just the permanent establishment. And I think what they're doing here, as far as like these new charges being brought forward, not only is he being charged with inciting public hatred online, but he is now being charged with additional, I think, 2 crimes, which was willfully promoting hatred and willfully promoting anti-Semitism by condoning, denying, or downplaying the Holocaust. So if that is specifically
that's crazy too. Like, I mean, it's a crime to question history when if there's one thing that we know is true, is that history is not true.
Mm-hmm.
There's kernels of truth in history, but the victors write history. We know that. It doesn't mean people didn't suffer. It doesn't mean people didn't die. It doesn't mean Hitler wasn't a prick. I mean, I think Hitler was a drug addicted idiot who was controlled by people much more powerful than him.
Mind-controlled male prostitute, my friend. We've had this conversation.
It's just like, and not to characterize someone's entire life based on one clip, but when you see this dude at the Olympics, he's a world leader at the Olympics, and he's fucking. I mean, he's like a crackhead asking you for change at a Exxon in downtown Atlanta. It's like, this is a guy who's not in control of himself.
Right. No, I mean this is really something that I think people are not appreciating, just how pressing this issue is becoming, as far as they are truly, I think, cracking down on the First Amendment in real time.
Yeah,
as far
dude.
as it will begin with, I think, content creators getting very much prioritized as far as just their
Elijah, we talked about it before the show. He got that lawsuit for posting. It was like a picture of one of the greatest country music singers I've ever experienced in Nashville, Cash Patel's girlfriend. Not saying that she was Mossad, but it was like he was making a jokey post, and so he gets sued by her, and this is defamation by implication, which is a thing, and there's a precedent for it in Florida and New York, and any state can do it, but this is going to be a fresh precedent. That this is why I said a long time ago, I was like, look, be careful, because what I saw is Candace would say things that. One, she'd say things that I still can't say without getting a video taken off of YouTube, by the way. That's curious. Two, she'd say things that she'd very much obviously imply things that her listeners would then go and state explicitly. And I just said, be careful stating her implications explicitly, because some of you are going to start getting sued. And I said that before Elijah got sued. Now, I'm not saying that she suggested that. She didn't. That was a thing that we all did, actually, at some point, probably. But it's the type of thing that they will go for. He's not the huge account, but he's an example of a smaller yet still prominent account that is going to be a precedent now for defamation by implication. So now you're worried about making jokes about getting taken off of social media. And what we just, as conspiracy theorists, this has always been my philosophy. They want to make us look so stupid all the time. And I am so into the crazy stuff, but I tell people, like, I think Donald Trump's very funny, and my inclination is to like him, which is why I have to criticize him and what he does harder than those who I am inclined to disagree with, like the left, because I already don't believe them. But so I need to make sure I'm super critical, because that is where I'm going to be persuaded. And so a juicy conspiracy theory that's like right on the nose, I'm like, oh, that would be crazy. I need to like really look into that before I roll with that. Right. And because they will put stuff out there. They tried to destroy us after Kennedy. They had the Cass Sunstein paper that he wrote, which he talked about literally flooding the zone with crazy conspiracies, and then painting a broad brush where every conspiracy, like maybe the COVID jab, which a lot of stuff turned out to be true, is clumped in and nobody believes it. It gets kicked offline. And so we have to be better than them, because they are trying to swing trust back to the mainstream media that people came to us, and now they're trying to make us look bad. And this was a Davos project. I think we've called it Operation Trust. But the whole Davos, there's a clip where they say, this is 2021, never before at any point in time have the elites of the world been more united in their purpose. But at the same time, never before have the publics of the world been more united in their distrust of the elites. And this is what they literally said, with Klaus Schwab sitting next to this lady. I can't remember who she was, at Davos. And she was like, if we want to control and shape our agenda of the future of the world, we have to win back their trust. And every Davos since then was about winning back trust, with 2024 being fully winning back trust. And so they started putting mainstream media people into podcasts to try and co-opt that. Go take Chris Cuomo, put him in a basement, take Alex Costa, put him in a basement, Joy Reid, put her in a basement, pretend like there's not 18 people handing her coffees behind her. and then at the same time, destroy the people those who used to trust the mainstream now trust. And I see that destruction happening in the placement of these big influencers who are saying things that none of us could ever say, with such positive assertion that even we're like, come on, that's gonna give us some evidence for this. If everything is racist, nothing's racist. If everything's anti-Semitic, nothing's anti-Semitic. If everything's the Jews, nothing's the Jews. So as tempting as it may be to say everything's the Jews, even if it is, as conspiracy theorists, we got to be better than them and prove our case, or they're going to destroy us.
Yeah. That is
that's why I love you, dude. You bring the pain when it comes to like evidence and backing shit up.
Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. But it is the reason why I refer to it as the influencer industrial complex and modern mockingbird in a real sense, as far as the The way I describe it is just the general public is desperately fleeing from the dying last gasp of the mainstream media, and they were prepared for this. And in many ways, they formed a structure to essentially a network that recorrals those individuals who are vulnerable minds, not yet ready to engage with the layered propaganda and deception involved with these agendas and psychological warfare operations. And they are then back on track with the permanent establishment agenda, while also becoming vulnerable within this concept of obviously hanging them out to dry within the context of a limited hangout. And I think people not understanding right, these strategic mind wars at play will never be able to properly assess it for what it is until they've overexposed themselves to the techniques, and until they are fundamentally aware of the details in regard to just as far as like examples you can point to in the past that firmly prove through evidentiary connections and layers of details legitimately prove that these agendas have and operations have been achieved in the past in a very just extraordinary extent as far as what they've been able to structure in terms of modern society and the influence subconsciously conditioning the minds of the vast majority. And that comes in the form of these these very prominent individuals and personalities that they prop up on that pedestal and provide that algorithmic spotlight, and then push them forward into public consciousness and utilize them and exploit them for that essential purpose. And that Sean Ryan being one of those glowing reference points that I always, utilize in that context. And the only reason that I bring him up is because we were talking about this privately, and I felt like it was another example of, for one, he did actually, for a brief moment, seem to have, just let's just say this was a positive reflection on him personally from the outside looking in at face value, because it did seem as if he was standing up in the face of child predators and these exploitative pedophiles that are using child care organizations in major, let's just say like the Kanakuk camps in Branson, Missouri, which I was unaware of until recently. It was actually introduced me by the host of the Rabbit Hole podcast. She's great. I've done a few different episodes with her on Columbine, and one where we just discussed a lot of this specific just subject matter in terms of just child abuse, unfortunately. But we got a little emotional in our last episode because of just how blatant and overt the level of sinister abuse that is now publicly acknowledged, to exist and be practiced, in very frequently, just too frequent for any sort of comfort whatsoever. And it's disturbing once you understand and have been exposed to that level of abuse and how much it has been systematically entrenched. But here we have what looks to be one of these glowing podcasting spooks that was a former CIA operative and basically set up a drug trafficking network in a way with his relationship with the cartels and things.
Yeah.
He has a strange background if you look into him, but still it looks as if, so he has this victim on from the Kanakuk camps, and just so people are aware of what this was, it's a global network of Christian summer camps for children between the ages of 6 to 18, basically, which was its headquarters and was originally founded in Branson, Missouri.
Yeah.
But yeah, the camps.
How did you describe that again? It was a global network of Christian summer camps?
Yes. Yeah. Which
the reason that sticks out to me is when I was in college, there was something called the name will come to me in a second, but campus outreach is what it was. And they would recruit people, and then they would go in these summer camps where they taught people to be evangelicals on the beach. Now, I've never heard of anything weird going on there, but it was always very cult-like to me. It was people kind of came back different for a little while, and so that's why that struck me.
And this is obviously, I think this goes far deeper than what is publicly being acknowledged, and there are we're talking thousands of cases, right, of child sex abuse, and I believe we have hundreds of examples of legal documents that have gone on the record, explaining the level of abuse that they endured, and yeah, it made me think of all of these various child care organizations that have propped up. I mean, in the context of TPUSA, it was
who arranges marriages almost so obviously, by the way, not to, but it's just like, yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. I just think that when I discovered the fact that you have all of these various board members of as far as advisory board members of the TPUSA or Turning Point, organization, who fundamentally created these child care organizations out of whole cloth that are being accused of child sex trafficking and child sex abuse. And that came up right within the context of more than one members on the advisory board of the board of directors for TPUSA. So we have just a blatant example of this being a prominent avenue of opportunity for these predators. And obviously, this is nothing new. This is a long-standing agenda and systematic structure of the pedophile underworld. Yeah. And I think there's no institution essentially no institution that is outside of the influence of being infiltrated and potentially just
again, like to that point. Any institution that is built around young people, people who are minors, boys, girls, whatever it is, or shoe salesmen also, when it comes to anything where you're touching people's, the priority needs to be vetting who you let into those things. If I mean, what has history taught us? Let's make sure the vetting process for priest is way up there. If you have a child organization, you need to go through the gauntlet of vetting in order to be able to be welcomed in to work with people who are vulnerable.
For sure, and that should be paramount. And any time you're dealing with the most vulnerable among us, which is a child with no protection, and also, man, just the suggestible nature of a child. It's so devastating to even imagine the mindset of the predator, but anyway,
what they rely on that actually. Yeah. Is most people are just trying to survive, and we live in this society where we have these rules and these morals of what's right and wrong. And then these people who are in power pretend to operate by the same rules, knowing that it's difficult for the average person to believe that someone could do such awful things because they would never do it. And if the person is a good enough actor, it's like, oh, they would never believe it either. And so they can operate outside of those lines of society that we all operate within.
Yeah, exactly. And with this
Fuck all those faggots, do his faggot retards.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, I think that we have to I personally, the level that it emotionally disturbs me, not that matters, and I hate the fact that I bring it up so often because it seems selfish of me to do this, considering the level of abuse that the victims have endured and not being able to even conceptualize that experience. It's still just so difficult for me to comprehend and conceptualize on my own, and to internalize. Yeah, and my God, when I looked into this, for a brief moment, man, I broke down for a second. It emotionally disturbed me. And I realized yet again, we're witnessing a pure example of what the Dutroux affair represents, of what the Finders and Franklin and Presidio and the West Point. It's just it's something that people need to, and Epstein, for God's sake. I mean, at this point, right? Like, how in God's name can you watch?
Look, you're a loser unless you're on his list, dude.
Yeah. Look, all that I know is that how in God's name can you watch that repugnant display of Hillary and Bill Clinton giving their depositions in the House Oversight Committee's investigation,
provably lying,
and just straight up, you have the reaction at face value of Hillary Clinton alone being asked about Pizzagate and Frazzledrip.
Yes, Hillary was so excited to be able to get in and fight with somebody. That's what was obvious about that. There's a comment up here that says, "Because no one cares," from Swedish Doom Goblin. Look, I think people care, and I think, like you're saying, Austin, I think people just it's hard for even us to comprehend. Yeah. Like I intellectually understood con artists and manipulation and propaganda because I'd studied it for a long time, even up until then. But when I met a true con artist who that's how they had lived since they were a kid, and I saw just that, because you want to give people the benefit of doubt, because they're good at appealing and they're good at being likable. But when you like truly see that and experience it firsthand, it for me it changed my life. And it's a weird thing to say. Everybody should experience a real con artist on the ground personally firsthand. I don't know how to go embed yourself with them. Mm-hmm. Like this book, The Big Con, the writer, the guy who created the lexicon for the names of different cons, he embedded himself with it, and they would go to travel around the country. This is back in the 1800s, and they would target a wealthy man. They'd send someone out to go be the handler of them. This is the mark, and they would take over the whole town, and they get the cops and the politicians in the town involved, and they would take over just a space that was empty, and they'd turn it into a fake horse racing place. And when the rich person got there, it looked like a happening thing. Like, yeah, you're going to win a whole bunch of money. And he thought everybody there was literally, even the cops and the politicians were literally conning this person. Wow. But not so much so that they realized it. Just enough to where they think they just had they thought they almost won, but then they lost because they're going to pass that mark off to the next person, to the next roving con band. And I think about that, and I just kind of apply that mentality based on my personal experiences with someone who was actually kind of like that. To politicians who are even better at that. And it's not that no one cares when it comes to what you're saying, because the comment was no one cares about all the dirty stuff going. No, I think people do care. I think people just have a hard time believing it, and compartmentalization is easy. The answer, and this is a difficult answer, but I think it's actually, while it's easier to propagandize, it's also easier to wake people up. Coming out of Plato's cave is a painful thing, but the more we can start from, not black pill, but like I was saying earlier, start from, even if somebody comes on the scene, you're like, oh my God, I love this person, they're speaking in my heart. I need to assume they're conning me until they prove to me otherwise. Right. No, leaving the door open for that possibility for them to win the trust, but it's the giving of the trust immediately because they say the words that we like and they have the attitude that we like. And it's like, we need to recognize that those are like I harp on this. Those are the ones, this is what Edward Bernays talked about. Those are the ones who are going to manipulate us the most, not the ones we already disagree with. Although I will say this, if you want to get somebody to not believe something that's true, put it in the mouth of someone that they disbelieve everything they say. So it's like, this thing where it's like, if this side says it, I disbelieve. Okay, I'll use an example. If Zionists at TPUSA say it, I disbelieve it, it must be false. If Candace says it must be true, vice versa on the other side. That's never true ever on either side. Even people we dislike say true things, and even people we like say things that aren't true. And this is true even if their intentions are good. Yeah. So it's like the base of it. People with good intentions get things wrong. So the best way to protect ourselves is to judge things not by the mouths they come out of, but by the content themselves as best we can, and assume, not based on our emotion, but based on our Spock-like intellect, that we're being conned until we're proven otherwise. They need to overcome a long history of being con artists to us. We need to be the hardest pussy to get that's ever existed. And that's the protection. That's how we protect ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's the reason why I always, it's basically the ending message for most of our shows is remain skeptical. You know, I've said many times, I think no more heroes is just really a philosophy to live by, because if you place people on these pedestals, you will only inevitably be disappointed more often than not. And I don't think that's what matters most are the personalities. I think what matters most is the substance. It's what you were just alluding to, which is, are these just, can you fundamentally check these facts on your own and through your own process of wading through the misinformation that is so often
absolutely
leveraged against you?
And if they're trying to race past it, then so there's this idea of like, we don't have time for people to evaluate things. We just need them to decide the thing that we need them to do. And is it possible that that's the thing that they would decide anyway? Maybe, but how'd that work out with the COVID shots? Okay, so if they're trying to race you past a decision, then for me, that's when I go, okay, even I am. That's the worst way to get me to make a decision at this point. When I was younger, not so much. Like you feel the pressure of just the idea of it, jump on the bandwagon. But it's like, no, okay, this is exactly what people who don't want me thinking about the decision would do, because if I think about it, I might not make the decision that they want. And so it's just recognizing these. And I'm reading the comments too. It's also this idea that online world is reality. Going out into the world, one-on-one conversations are so much different. Now, yes, there are crazy stand-up rooms with LGBTQ. You got to like suck off a trans to get 3 minutes of stage time to prove you're an ally. It's just like there's some of that, but there's also, so the other day I was, because we were talking about, I love the Gavin Newsom memes. We were talking about that the other day.
Oh my God.
But so I did my show last night at my studio in downtown Atlanta, and the guy's next to me in the office, and it's a drop ceiling, so you can hear what people are doing. So I'm always like whispering when I'm like, okay, now I'm going to be racist.
Oh my God.
I'm just joking. I mean, I'm joking, but like, but so I was getting animated last night about the war stuff and the appeals and some of the stuff that I thought was like, I didn't appreciate. I got a text to give you an example, and the text said this, because I sign up to all these texts. The text said, you can see the headline in the text, just like an email. It said, send your condolences to Pete Hegseth. Which is like, I said, oh my God, did something happen to him, to his family? Did his son like genuinely, because that's something you only say when someone dies. I click on it, and it's a long campaign email that says, Pete Hegseth, there was articles of impeachment brought, which happened in December, by the way. We need your money and your signatures now. I'm just like, stop fucking insulting me.
Right.
Stop fucking insulting me with this bullshit. Okay, so like if you want to be honest with me, then maybe make an argument. But this fucking bullshit it makes you, it's insulting. And so they heard me saying that, and they like when they saw me leave, and it's all these black guys, and I asked them, like we started talking about Newsom, and despite what the Atlanta mayor would say, you don't need to tell us how to respond. Who went to Georgia Tech, by the way? They fucking hate Newsom just as much as we do. They hate California just as much as we do. And like the common ground on everything, who these guys you would probably assess as liberals, but I don't even know that at all. They would probably assess me as a Republican. We agreed on almost everything, but if the online sphere, if we'd have communicated that way, we probably would have ended up in two separate opposing factions. Yep. And I'm just like, I was like, dude, this is why I like going to places like this, because I find so often that people agree on more things than they disagree on.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And that's another thing that I've realized as well, just being able to kind of package information in the right way that's more palatable to let's just say both sides of the political ideological spectrum that most people align with and fundamentally embrace in certain ways. And I think that's where, like the Pete Hegseth, though, I thought it was so funny because you have Trump basically coming out and saying the day after Operation Epic Fury was given
or whatever it was.
Yeah, Operation Epstein's Fury or whatever. Yeah. Well, you have basically Trump saying that boots on the ground in Iran will probably not be necessary. But now, obviously, special forces are on the ground in Iran, and it seems like everyone is alluding to boots on the ground being the next stage of this conflict. And you have Hegseth immediately coming out the very same day that Trump said that, and he claims he doesn't rule out U.S. boots on the ground in Iran. And I
don't rule it out. I don't know what I do. I don't know how long I'm going to be. I don't know. I'm not going to be like these other guys who are just like, they pussy cake around. They get the yips. He said, get the yips is what he said. I don't get the yips about this. I'm just like, but that's what Trump does, And it's just like, it's this presentation of it that we're going to present it as different, even though the underlying thing is kind of the exact same fucking thing that everybody predicted for the most part. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. I mean, you're 100% right. I think the fact that we named so many episodes, war with Iran, Iranian regime change, Iranian propaganda or protest propaganda, like so many different episodes were dedicated to specifically pushing back with this just clear and obvious war propaganda of just marching us into the next conflict. And just seeing that Hegseth, I saw this go somewhat viral the exact same day that he made that statement about boots on the ground. And it was before he becomes Secretary of War, which hilarious that they renamed. I mean, thank you for taking the naive window dressing off of the face value, acknowledgement of what this organization stands for. I mean, I appreciate that as far as them revealing to us who they truly are at certain points.
Are you talking about the Department of War?
The Department of War.
I mean, seriously, like they changed the name to the Department of fucking War.
So crazy. I know. And again, man, like what was Hegseth saying in November 7th, 2024, right? He's saying, I've been a recovering neocon for 6 years now. The foolishness with which we ricocheted around the world, intervening, thinking it was in our best interest, when really we just overturned the table and created something worse. Imagine understanding that you are making a horrific mistake that will only lead to just traumatic and widespread suffering, right? That again, this is something that I think the vast majority probably aren't aware of because it's not getting the most traction in mainstream media in the West. But I mean, we are considerably just in terms of civilian casualties. I mean, we're talking significant numbers are already beginning to at least be reported. Now, during the operation, if you remember,
whether it's one or whether it's 1,000.
Yeah,
it's the same to the families of those who die. And the question that I always have is, I joining the military, there's a lot of value in the discipline and the strength and what you can gain. But the possibility of going somewhere and dying, has someone been compelled to do that based on something that is the truth or something that isn't? Oftentimes it's not the truth. I can't say, I don't know the answer in this case, but that is what has always bothered me about when people join up, because we all have people who we know who are in the military, and I don't know that I've met one, honestly, who has not come back disillusioned about why they went, and that doesn't mean it's true for everyone, but it's just so often true from my experiences personally and from others I've talked to, that they thought they were going to do one thing. They got over there and it was a lie. Yeah. And they ended up spending the rest of their lives I'm thinking about my uncle specifically, waking up screaming in the middle of the night. And I know there's examples of that from people with more recent wars, but you read the history of, it's another great book. It's called Propaganda Techniques in World War. And a portion of the book is about Harold Laswell. He's another one of these elites who they would write these books to each other, like him and Bernays and all these guys, about, they would really dissect and deconstruct the propaganda tactics. Because back then was like the first real organized worldwide efforts, and they were kind of testing them to see what worked best. You know, Bernays famously to me, bragged about how Hitler praised his and the British efforts during World War I and modeled, this is what Bernays said, modeled his propaganda campaign against the Jews on Edward Bernays' book, Crystallizing Public Opinion. Isn't that crazy? Edward Bernays, the nephew of Freud, a Jew, he's a Jew, bragging about Hitler modeling his propaganda campaign against the Jews on a Jew's propaganda during the previous war. That's true based on the Jew who wrote the book. Like it's crazy. But like, it's just all of these books, they're like the whole goal. And you see this today in the trainings they do with Martin Seligman, the guy I always bring up in the Epstein files nobody ever talks about. It's how do you overcome the natural human inclination to not want to kill another human? That psychological resistance. The whole idea is to pump people full of propaganda that gets them to break that barrier and have a willingness to kill, which is dependent on seeing those who you're going to kill as something non-human. Right. Well, and now they can do it at a distant. It makes it easier. But like it's a tale as old as time. And like, I think I have the utmost respect for like going to the military. Sometimes like, man, I wish I had the discipline. I wish I would learned a lot of those things. But man, when I hear people saying their kids are going into it because they're getting baited with money or whatever else, I'm just like, I hope they don't end up in China. I hope they don't end up on boots on the ground, because it's coming,
I'm telling you, man, like that was whenever I was researching just the terror wars and the dirty wars and I realized, like, I saw there was one specific documentary I watched back in the day. I think Michael Ware, an Australian journalist or something, a conflict journalist at that time. And I was somehow introduced to his documentary called This Is What Winning Looks Like. And he was embedded with a unit on the front lines in Iraq. And my God, man, like witnessing these just fresh 18-year-old kids, man, like barely have facial hair, like acting like kids. They look like kids, like everything. I mean, they're forced to grow up way too quickly. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, man. Like God. I think about when I was 18 years old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm an idiot now, but back then you're so naive, you're so energetic, you're so you're so gullible, like you're so innocent in so many ways, and to the world, and not even to say the brain develops fully at 25, whatever, but just like 18-year-old me, I just think about, man, dude. I could fall in love with a girl that looked at me the right way when I was 18 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, and that's why they want the youth to go, because it's easier to get them in, and they have the passions, and they haven't lived the life that raises the questions. Yeah,
they're out there playing Call of Duty for real life simulation. Dude. That's what they're doing. Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's what I saw in just their behavior, the way that they were acting, and even when they were faced with mortality, I mean, they were, when Obama changed the rules of operation and the rules of engagement.
You mean Barack Hussein Obama? See, even Trump during his speech, he goes, "It was a terrible day, Barack Hussein Obama." He had to throw that in. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't actually see that. Yes. No, but I did see his tweet from over, I don't know, 15 years ago, when he's tweeting about Obama essentially not being able to negotiate with the Iranians. So he's going to start a conflict so he gets reelected. It was like 2012, I think. Right. Yeah. And it's just like, oh my God, this is, I think it was Donald Rumsfeld, by the way, who made the statement, because I instantly thought of this when Trump says that the war against Iran, he said specifically, may now last longer than just a few weeks as originally projected. Trump says he doesn't get bored And there's nothing boring about this. There's nothing boring about it, Brad.
That's the thing, but I wouldn't be doing this. The thing, but I could do it for 8 weeks. Not forever. What's forever?
It's so crazy to me. So we projected.
That's what he would do, though. It could go on for 12 years. He'd be like, that's not forever. This isn't a forever war. What are you talking about?
Seriously. And that's what he said. He says, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do whatever it takes. So that's
stamina, baby. We can fuck all night.
And Rumsfeld, man, during Iraq, right? During the Iraq war. And I think the timeline that he gave in like 2002, he predicted 5 days, 5 weeks, or 5 months. But it certainly isn't going to last any longer than that.
Why? Because why would they ever say, "Oh, we just started a war. It's going to be 20 years"? Yeah, they're not going to say that. I would say my favorite part. I don't know if you saw this part of it, but after he kind of wraps up his talk about the strike in Iran, and he's shifting over to whatever they're going to be giving these medals out. But in between, he turns around and he goes, right behind this, you see it's beautiful. We spent so much, it's going to be a beautiful bar. Right behind this is a big hole. And then he starts going, in Milan, my wife doesn't like it. She doesn't like it at all. Every night she says, when are the pile drivers going to stop? The pile drivers are going from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. When are the pile drivers going to stop? I'm like, this just sounds pornographic. It just sounds like to me.
Real. That's so funny.
It's hilarious. I was playing the other day. I was like, Trump is very obviously he's gonna ease the American mind, and then I just started it with, here's a big hole and curtains, and Melania wants to know when the pile drivers are gonna stop.
Oh my God. I just think he's the most ridiculous personality to be out there as the face of anything, let alone the leader of the free world, which is just the most laughable concept whatsoever. But I honestly do appreciate it to some extent, because it has it's forcefully removed that naive veil from many people's eyes as far as how they viewed government and leadership and just politicians in general. And I appreciate that. But I think that
I think that's important. But that's important, I think. So I think as much as it's, this was the inevitable Iran war, and he flips a lot of people. I think even so, I think it's important to point out things that you like or that are good, because if we don't do that, then we're the either or they want us to be. It's the nuance and being able to say I like this and don't like that they don't want. True. So I like that example.
Thank you, and I do think that we have to remain nuanced in our thinking.
We got to stop. We got to be no faggot.
Yeah, exactly. Just the cartoonish black hat, white hat narrative never applies. It's never that simple. It's an oversimplification that leads you into almost you're becoming psychologically corralled back into this naive paradigm of power.
Totally, dude.
Yeah,
and I lose trust of people who don't point that out early. It's so easy to be pulled one way or another because we're emotional beings. But when I see people just very obviously ignoring nuance, who I previously might have liked, I'm just like Jimmy Dore is his name. Right. He did a lot of good work, but now I'm just like, where did the nuance go? You're a fucking stand-up comedian. Stand-up comedians live in nuance. I don't know if it's I get conflicted about it. There's some people I'm pretty sure are obviously just chasing that engagement and check. There's others who I'm just like, are they just being pulled by the nose themselves? I don't know. But it's disappointing.
It feels that way. It's very disappointing, and it's extraordinarily frustrating because
yes, it is.
Yeah, there are moments where I have that sense of it, what becomes false hope. And every time I'm like, how could I have led myself back into that position yet again? Right. I've been here too many times. And I think that's another reason I'm seeing people in the chat saying that you're magically controlling my tism somehow, Brad. And I
see the greatest compliment I've ever gotten right below that.
Hey man,
I have the energy to keep up with you. That's a great. It's like,
hey, I'm just
no, I knew I'm coming to talk to Austin. I got to be like, Austin is Austin brings the pain, man.
Thank you, brother. But we've had experience together now, so I think that's another reason, right?
And I have to say, meeting you in person, I don't know, we haven't got a chance to talk on your show. It was such a great experience, dude. We had such a great time.
I'll never forget it, buddy. It was very special to me, and it proved to me that in a way, all of this that we've been working toward is just so worthwhile and valuable to continue down this path, and it was very just rejuvenating, in a way, but also,
I agree.
Yeah, it also just kind of, it was something that really helped me in the process of realizing that, for one, I'm not alone. It's like that is the ultimate struggle. The reason in which I started the Underclass podcast was because I felt so isolated in my own ideas, and I was so desperate to have these open-minded conversations with people who you're a juggernaut, man. I mean, you're a black belt in these conversations, and I appreciate that, and it's something
Thank you.
I always admired just from afar, in terms of your approach and willingness to consistently question, again, reflect on your own ideas as well, and consistently be willing to shift as far as your interpretation of things. But I will say, Bro Grove was something special.
Yeah,
because man. It brought the human quality into what we were also doing. I mean, I got to break through that digital barrier and kind of see you and Sam and obviously everyone else who was there in attendance.
And you feel that energy and that love. You feel that in the room.
100%.
And that's energizing. And that's the type of thing that, so a comment earlier said that William Ramsey had shouted me out because he heard some of the Epstein stuff that I had, and I am one of the people who've talked about this before, but I try to focus on the stuff that's like concrete, and that's like one of the greatest compliments someone could give me. William, for real, he's great. He's fantastic.
He's one of my favorite people to have a conversation with on earth. Honestly, just one of my favorite, and most like the way that I described it was, it's a delicate dance partner. And my God, it's
right. You guys are great together. It's just like it does great research, and so I saw something in the chat that hopium is a terrible addiction. So that's something to me is what is hopium? What's your definition of that? And the nuance of that, the extreme of that is black pill hopium. I know there's nuance in between, but for me, the way that I think about this is, and briefly in my background, I don't want to go too deep into it. My mom had a rare illness years and years ago when I was in college, and she was told she's going to die in 2 years and nobody had any answers. She lived 18 years after that because my mom and dad were relentless, and whenever they were told no, they found answers somewhere else. They found people who had open minds. And so most people give up in that situation. And the relation of that, and that is what inspired me in a lot of things. But the relation of that is the purpose of a demoralization campaign, if that's what we're looking at, we often talk about that, is to demoralize people into having zero hope. And I don't mean this in a metaphorical or non-tangible sense. By that definition of what a demoralization campaign is, then that means that having hope is in and of itself an act of resistance against that. And when it's hard to say, how do you have hope? But the difference in having hope and having no hope is seeing the opportunities to take steps in the realm that you can control.
Yeah, man.
Because if you have we have no hope, but because it's this superstructure of nothing you can do, then all these opportunities where you can take action and affect a change around you and for yourself, you don't see them. And the reality is the power we all fucking have is what's right in front of us. And all these guys who we kind of put up as a big fucking superstructure, they're all fucking pussies. And they're all fighting amongst each other. And if we met them one-on-one, they'd be super fucking unimpressed. I've met a lot. Like, you meet people who you see online or you think it was big. Most of them are supremely unimpressive. Mm-hmm. Most of them are pussies, okay? And they are. Most of them are fucking pussies. and they just roll. They actually they're on such fragile ground, and it's this fucking myth of power that is what people are afraid of. When the reality is that myth is resting on the backs of a bunch of Bill Gates fucking syphilis infested pussies, dude. And like, it's not taking down a superstructure at once. It's like, what can I do that's right in front of me? If you want to have power in politics, it's not about voting at the federal level. I don't vote at the fucking federal level. The power comes in voting or even running at the fucking local level, because that's where they send the communists to take over your town. And that's where you can actually win some fucking shit. There's offices that I haven't even heard of, that some of you guys probably hadn't heard of in your town, that there are incumbents who have been running that fucking position for 12 years because nobody's even heard of the fucking position. Well, what's that person been doing? There's no light on that person. I found out recently, I learned about some positions with some guys from the Libertarian Party running for it, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Wait, really? And they were running for it, and they kind of had the idea that they weren't going to win. I was like, wait a minute. So I know Force Mommy. I don't know if you know Jessica Finsky up in Colorado. Jessica ran for office up there against a 12-year incumbent. She had no political experience. She got like 40% of the vote, almost won, right? Like that's like with nothing, no money, nothing, almost won. And so you have these even smaller offices, and I'm like, no, you just think you can't win because that guy's been there. And so what I've been telling him is, I know people who do make movies and stuff, and I usually do my show out of a studio, and I have a lot of people who will provide resources because we're friends. And even if maybe they wouldn't say it publicly, and that's funny, a lot of people come out to me as non-liberals very privately. It's very funny.
That's so funny.
It's very funny. But like, they will lend their resources to me. They just won't put their name on it, but they'll lend their fucking resources to me. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, let's do some crazy shit to get attention. And let's get you to win that fucking local office, because that guy's never fucking been. That's where the fucking power is. So it's hopium without action. I agree. That's nothing. But hopium, attach it to action when you have that hope, because they don't want you to do that. That's exactly what propaganda is designed to do, is to snuff that shit out. Fuck those fucking pussies. Which is something that Lindsey Graham would never do. It's only buttholes.
Yeah, Lindsey and his lady boys, or what were ladybugs? My bad,
yeah.
my bad.
So we saw the meme of John McCain with his boner in the grave for the war. Did you see that one? Where was the meme of Lindsey Graham spinning his asshole around on that fucking boner?
Yeah, no, that would be extraordinarily fitting. But I figure now it's probably no better time than now to take the intermission. I think Jose's in the back, so
sorry
we'll
if I talk
back.
too much.
Oh no,
Austin.
you're good, buddy. I 100% agreed with every word you said, and I will also add to just one last statement as far as the hope truly lies in terms of, again, how you can insulate yourself from the consequences of the permanent establishment. And so that always only really can be practiced at an individual level with what you can control in your own home. And I think that is where the hope lies. And if you
Austin, I know you. Like, that's fucking hope. I would have never met you, dude.
I know. No, it honestly.
I would never met Sam. I would never met Jose. That's fucking hope.
It truly is. And this entire experience has inspired me, just in terms of the relationships I've been able to cultivate over this time, and how much I truly do believe that these are long-standing, worthwhile friendships that will stand the test of time, truly.
Yeah,
and
absolutely, man.
Just considering
100%.
The level of willingness to consistently, reveal the truth in a way in which you are not holding back information, and you are not scared to, or, let's just say, influenced into self-censorship or whatever the case may be.
Like, every time I see you do something, I see Jose do something, I see a comment where it says William shouted you out, or Sam shouted you out, or somebody says something, like they send me an email where they're like, really what you did, that to me is like fucking like fuel, dude. It's like rocket fuel.
I'm with you.
And like that, because it can be, you do this and it can be like, oh man, because we're usually in the minority of things. And it can sometimes feel lonely. But then when you see that you're actually not alone, and you get comments and you get kind words, and you see other people reflecting your views, friends that you meet, that it's just so like, it's just like, I'm not going to go all Alex Jones, because what the fuck's Alex doing sometimes?
No kidding, man. Yeah. But yeah, old Uncle AJ.
Yeah, it's gay. That's right. Uncle said it's gay. I'll be gay tonight.
Oh my God. All right, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and take the break. I got a legit edit queued that at least I've been wanting to play for a long time. It doesn't apply quite as directly with what the subject matter and topics we've discussed. Technically, I don't know. It's definitely Epstein flavored, so I mean that applies. But at the same time, we definitely haven't spoken on Mohammed bin Salman over the course of this episode. But pay attention, because the connections that are illustrated through this edit are fascinating and worthwhile in understanding, and it's something that I think far too few people are aware of, the level of influence with this strange network that's international and is staging a global conflict as we speak. And we are just, again, I think full speed ahead in terms of Operation Epic Fury turning into a wider regional conflict, which it already very much has become. And so I'll leave it at that for the sake of Jose in the back. So, but beyond that, I love all of you guys and I appreciate you. So I'll check you on the other side of the intermission.
And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion in the United States. And because he's my friend, he might make it $1 trillion.
The son-in-law of Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, set up an investment firm by the name of Affinity Partners. He described it as a Gulf investment in Israel. Where did the money come from? $2 billion from the Saudi government and millions more from other governments like the UAE and Qatar.
Kushner, against protocol, has been using the messaging app WhatsApp to communicate with foreign leaders across the Middle East, and particularly Mohammed bin Salman.
We turn now to the disappearance raising alarms around the world. A Saudi journalist, a Washington Post contributor, Jamal Khashoggi.
He was last seen walking into that Saudi consulate in Istanbul in 2018.
Saudi Arabia's crown prince told Bloomberg he has no idea what happened to Khashoggi.
The government now says he died in a fist fight in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey.
Journalist Jamal Khashoggi was strangled the moment he entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, his body cut into pieces.
Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman says he did not order the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
Did you order the murder of Jamal Khashoggi?
Absolutely not. This was a heinous crime.
Jared Kushner, in the days after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, was still communicating with Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and advising him how to get through this crisis.
Trump defended bin Salman when asked about Khashoggi's murder today by ABC's Mary Bruce.
You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happened, but he knew nothing about it. And we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It comes as the Trump family has multiple projects underway in Saudi Arabia, including Trump Towers in Jeddah and Riyadh, and a Trump Plaza. Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest?
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine.
New analysis suggests that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman hacked the phone of Jeff Bezos in 2018 with a WhatsApp message that contained code and breached the billionaire's phone.
The Saudi government had access to Bezos' phone and gained private information.
Now, this all stems from leaked photos and texts revealing Bezos' extramarital affair with Lauren Sanchez. Bezos has long claimed that the Saudis leaked those images as revenge against the Washington Post for its support of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was murdered in 2018 by Saudi agents.
Pegasus is one of the most powerful bits of spyware ever made.
And install spyware grants complete access to your device.
Israel has already come under fire for allowing the export of Pegasus.
Pegasus has been linked to human rights abuses, unethical surveillance, and even to the notoriously brutal murder of the Saudi Arabian critic Jamal Khashoggi.
Where's the homie at? There he is. What's up, dude? Let me move this around. I don't know how that got screwed up for the edit. I still don't know how to put that full screen, so I did my best.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to do it on my end, but I think I might be limited on what I can do to your stuff. So that's why a little bit of some of that was my fault. Some of that was my fault, but it's kind of interesting. Look at Jeff Bezos. What a wild thing to think that you can hide an affair when you're one of the richest men in the world. I don't know. I mean, I guess the edit makes you think that those pictures were taken and used to blackmail him, and those are like him in like open restaurants. You're like, what are you doing?
Did he dose any drinks with syphilis medication? Is the question. Did he go Bill Gates? Did he go full Bill Gates?
Yeah, he's just having a respectable mistress. There's nothing.
Right, he's not. Yeah, there's no Tuskegee going on over there with him.
Yeah, he's a respectable human blow-up doll. That
he's doing the white shit. He's not doing that.
Well, pleasure to be back with you guys. My kiddo won her soccer game, so that's the last one of the season, though. So I'll be.
Jose, I saw that photo of you kicking some ass in soccer that you posted recently. You're a badass soccer player.
I was pretty good. I balled. I was all state my senior year. I was okay. Yeah. Okay. You can't. I'm quite all right, and my kid took after me, so she's a little badass. Dude. So, but yeah. I did want to pick your brain a little bit, Brad. I heard you in the first half of the show. I was driving around listening. I heard you talk about Candace, and you've been how you watch your stuff pretty regularly.
I do, yeah.
I used to watch your stuff regularly, and I'm in the same boat as you, to where I was kind of compelled somewhat. But and I knew she was grifty and not the most, but I don't know. I kind of summed up to maybe just being kind of a dumb bitch, you know?
Yeah.
You know, bitches be tripping,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I was just like, what am I even doing getting information from here? Because it becomes so sloppy, and it gets to where it's schizophrenic. I can't keep up.
100%.
And I'm someone who believes a lot of the shit she's saying.
Yep.
And I'm kind of curious. One thing that's kind of made me regret my not paying attention to her bullshit anymore is this little docu-series she's doing on Erica Kirk, because I do buy a lot of that bullshit. I do buy a lot of that shit there with Erica Kirk. So I'm kind of curious where she's going. And I've also kind of had this theory, and I'm not like original here. I've heard a lot of people say this, that this was going to be kind of like a, let's be real, a Sandy Hook type thing. And like what she's doing, this idea of we're going to make things be verboten. And I mean, it literally is just kind of a redux of Sandy Hook. We find some like awful thing that you're not supposed to do, this crazy cultural faux pas, like questioning the children of a mass shooting. What would be the next closest thing? A widow of a mass shooting?
A libertarian questioning why Dave Smith didn't run for president.
Yeah. But yeah, then we have we have like Candace questioning Erica Kirk and seemingly like almost implying that she murdered her husband.
Yes.
And so it seems like that's the obvious. I mean, we have some of the other stuff going on, whether the French Macron bitch or whatever has a wiener or not. That's kind of going on in the background that might tie into all this. But that seemed to be that would be the easy one that everyone goes, oh my God, oh my stars and garters.
Yeah.
Something happens to kind of really be like, holy shit, that's beyond the pale. What do you think? Has it how's this docuseries? Has it been bullshit? Has it been pretty on the nose?
It's been hard to get through. It's been her talking about the distant relatives of her. One of the things she's focused on has been Charlie Kirk, and sorry, sports fans, guys. Charlie Kirk said in an interview that Erica is a relative of Vince Lombardi, and I think that that's true, even though we can't. And she literally said, even though we can't prove it, Charlie said it, and it's true. And it's just so distant from what you're at. It's these threads of like shocking details that are unverifiable, that have no connection to an actual
my grandma
theory.
Says I'm related to Geronimo, but go on.
Right. So you killed Charlie Kirk, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's what's always bothered me about her is I have, since I came across TPUSA, since I came across Candace Owens, I have like called them out as being grifters, one and the same, and doing the same thing I've always done. All of a sudden, time passes and I'm still doing it, and all of a sudden I'm a 7K shill. And I'm like, please, somebody send me the 7K, because I'm not getting it from any. It's other reasons that I have a problem with it. It pisses me off when there'll be like a very valid reason to call something out that Candace says, and then you see Ben Shapiro.
Shill, Brad. You're a Fed. You're into the Fed slop. That's what you're into. You're into a 7K
Fed
shill.
Slop, right? Which like literally,
different. You're Fed slop. So you're not 7K club. These
I hate like the Fed slop makes me want to plow my head through a brick wall when I hear people say like Ian Carroll's so profound. God damn it, he's so fucking profound. God. I'm just like, dude, it's like. It's such con artistry, and I get what people are doing, but what pisses me off is when there's something obvious, it's a problem, and then you'll see the people who are the Zionists or the Ben Shapiros that will pick up on it and then do the most stereotypical thing that will discredit a very valid point, and everybody else is. I'm like, I can't say that very valid point anymore because now all these people are saying it. You know what I mean? So I said to you earlier, Austin, a way to get somebody to disprove something, to not believe something is true, is to get someone who they hate to say it.
Right.
And I'm just like, and that's like what's happening. And so the Erica Kirk thing is like, Erica's a very weird person. Erica Kirk seems to me to be a social climber. She seems like she has a weird background, but none of it to me, according to Candace's story, is evidence of any crime. And like what Candace is doing to me is what Candace has always done. Like Candace, look, I'm gonna allege this. This is my podcast, your podcast. What Candace always says, this is my podcast. I can say anything I want. That's what she always says. Candace made up claims, in my opinion, when she was in high school about being called the hard R, and she ended up getting a $50,000, or it's a little bit less than that, settlement from the board, the school board. And people don't realize this part about it. The FBI came in and did a forensic analysis on what these alleged phone calls were, where she was being called the hard R. And they couldn't actually determine who said any of it. So nobody actually got charged for that. That's why they had to go do a civil lawsuit. And what it reads to me, I can't prove this, but based on my experiences, it reads to me like something that was made up. based on a grievance is what it reads to me. And it reads to me as a black girl having a grievance based on what I've seen about Candace and realizing what she could do there and people don't want to deal with it. Then you fast forward, and I don't want to detail the other, like I even hate going through these things because I know some of the people that people hate have gone through some of them, which I talked about these before them. Like she was in this apartment she didn't pay anything for, and it was like $160,000. She pretended to have mold. Every single step of her career, she's pretended to be one thing. She's exploited it, cashed in, using her black woman status, and then flipped to the other side and cashed in on the other side. I like you guys probably have too, but having experienced personally how con artists who like make a living doing con artistry and like Sneaky Pete type shit, that's what she's doing. And maybe she's not an operative, but people recognize, obviously, because Ben Shapiro and them recognize the usefulness of a fucking black girl who doesn't give a fuck, right? Obviously, her gay husband, dude, her husband, that fraternity that he's in is known for debauchery. It's known for being these elitist kids they're in power. What they do is go get hammered and destroy expensive property. That's literally what her husband's fraternity is known for. And she talks in her podcast all the time. She demeans America. She says UK is so much better all the time. She's going to move to the UK. I guarantee that should be a bet on Polymarket. And I would put a lot of money on it right now. But that doesn't mean that I don't agree with some of the things she says. Like, right. I don't like her at all. I think she's an awful bitch. Erica Kirk, I don't dislike her. I don't trust her. I think she's weird. I think she's, my friend called her, is it Sammy Faye Baker? The woman who would, I think I'm getting the name wrong. But yeah, it's all very weird. But also, it doesn't matter what she does. It's been situated in a way where it's going to be framed as bad. But also, everything they did is weird. So you can believe both of those fucking things. And that's what pisses me off, is that you can't fucking be like, I think all of this is crazy, because everybody wants to be like, either you're with them or the Fed slop. I'm just like, fuck all of you.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
The worst shit I think about the Fed slop is that it was our term. And it was this term that, if anything, I feel like slightly more sophisticated people that have actually looked into conspiracies and stuff and read a few books will be like, well, that's just the low tier. That's like the low tier, the gen pop, what everyone's fucking saying. That's the Fed slop. And this has become this thing, though, now, where the normies, the people who are normies, like, or maybe some people in like this transitionary period where they're like normies 5 minutes ago, and there's something they just can't comprehend, like as if you're talking to somebody of like 101 statism type stuff, like they can't even comprehend the concept of like, applying rights equally across the board, or whether you have a badge or not, and then their mind just get complete. God, where was I fucking going with that?
No, the normies, though, you're right, though.
Oh, so you normies. So the normies now, they'll say it Fed slop, and all it means is something they don't understand. Right. So they'll be like, that's just stupid. I can't comprehend that. It's Fed slop. And so because Candace is confidently repeating it, they go, therefore,
how brilliant
this
is she,
slop.
though, to position herself? If she says... So if she says that Charlie told her that he runs by streetlights and they go out, and that he went to an X-Men school, and if you say, well, that's crazy, then she's made it to where if you say that's what I have a question about that, then you are supporting the Fed slop. I mean, that's how powerful this woman has become because of what, like, that's why I say we should be careful about the power we're giving them, which, by the way, Erica said the same thing about the streetlights, and I'm just like, are we really going to continue pretending this isn't some fucking pickup artist shit? He's told 24 women that shit, okay? That's totally pickup artist shit, because streetlights fucking go out all the goddamn time, okay? We all walk by streetlights.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if these two are in fucking cahoots the way this is working out perfectly for everybody.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know.
I love that,
but,
actually.
I mean, you look at I think this is kind of, we see this dynamic play out a lot with a lot of this Epstein list stuff. We'll see like the Michael Tracy's of the world respond and be like, here, see this email. It says they claimed that they were eating babies on Saturday, but they were doing this other thing, so they weren't eating babies on Saturday. Meanwhile, it's like, okay, but like, I'm more concerned about whether they're eating babies, not whether they were eating babies on specifically Saturday.
And
you're like, well, I
disproved
this one specific thing, so now it's cast doubt on the whole thing. And that's kind of what It seems like Candace, the role she's playing, and I am hesitant to be like poo-poo that, because it does feel like censorial, I guess, in this idea of like, oh, we can't ask questions. But at the same time, it's also like, obviously, let's be real.
But we should question the conspiracy theorist also. Like we should we should fucking also question the conspiracy, and that's been my problem. And like that's why Twitter to me is. I understand how to be good at Twitter. I just like it's just also disingenuous to me that I can't. I don't like attacking people relentlessly. It gets exhausting to me, and that's how people get popular on Twitter, and that's the model. That's the incentive. And you meet people in person, and it's like you're the person who just attacks people. You don't like you're such a nice guy in person, right? But it's an unfortunate perverse incentive. But yeah, like we should question everyone, and Candace does the whole thing where. And she's good at this. Some people say she's stupid, she's smart. There's different kinds of smart and intelligence. She's obviously reading a script, in my opinion, but she's very smart at what she's very smart at exploiting. I think she's kind of just the craziest psycho bitch. I think. So I love that Milo was like a year ago is like Candace's husband's obviously gay. And Candace was promoting before that, you should marry gay guys for money. Like she was promoting the idea of marrying gay guys for money. Then she marries
Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, the only person you used to follow was Milo, right?
No, dude, really?
That's so funny.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And Austin told me that JD Vance said that Peter Thiel convinced him he wasn't gay.
That's what.
No way.
Dude, I talked about that on the show. 100%. It was the same week I talked about it on whatever this is because I thought it was so ridiculous. It was when we went into Peter Thiel's, hidden genealogy, and we were basically just kind of breaking that down to a certain extent because JD Vance went on the record claiming that. He essentially influenced him in his college years by being his basically he was the acolyte of Peter Thiel and he was his mentor, and he had convinced him that he was a homosexual. Right. And basically, it's the most ridiculous story.
That.
I'll pull that article here.
So crazy, isn't it?
Dude, I do about the conversion, but I didn't know anything about that. Like I knew he's attributed a Thiel to his religious conversion to Catholicism or whatever.
No, because Thiel tried over and over. He tried to be like, let's try again, and it's like no. He's just not into it.
By the way, apparently Epstein and Thiel were discussing the creation of a secret society. You saw that, right? That was ridiculous to me, man. Peter Thiel loved the secret society idea.
Where the proton mail emails? Where the fucking proton mail emails? Jose, I've been talking. So like the emails after 20, they're all Gmail, and so he's a spy, and he's also using only Gmail. So when you break up with a girl. And her friend shows up all the time, and then somehow your ex-girlfriend finds out about everything that's going on. You realize you have a spy on your hands, right? So if you want to control the narrative, you just say in front of that spy what you want your ex-girlfriend to hear. And to me, anything after 2016 or 17 through Gmail that Jeffrey Epstein is saying is he knows that he's being looked at, and he's saying what he wants people to hear. And so I searched proton mail. In the files, and there were a number of messages. One of them from I told you and Sam Austin. It was David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA at the time, saying proton mail for privacy, proton mail for privacy, signal for privacy. How about those messages? Let's see those fucking messages.
Yeah, that would be nice, but I have a feeling that. Well, by the way, the DOJ website went down, right? And people, that was a huge problem.
The search thing broke for a while.
Yeah, that was yeah.
And I just think that the fact that they withheld, so many documents and so much evidence, and in terms of we only got 2% of the files they allegedly have in their. But
that's because FBI got hacked back on the Super Bowl, so don't worry about it.
And what they claimed that I think it was the Epstein files were. Hold on, I actually have it here. because I thought it was interesting that basically you had this sort of Epstein leak on 4chan. Isn't that what they claimed that it was? But honestly, it was basically a hold on, let me find it.
Because by the way, reaching young people. Sorry to interrupt, but you're right, Jose. Candace is reaching younger, new conspiracy theorists. Because I've met some people who are right in line with that.
I was going to say something. I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt, but yeah.
Found it.
You're good.
Dark web Epstein files leak. This is a rumor that spread before Trump's State of the Union, which I found to be interesting as far as the timing. And so, as a post from accounts like IT Dude Fella claimed the files had surfaced online, timed suspiciously close to Trump's Tuesday night speech, fueling speculation about elite names and prosecutions. No evidence emerged, no links, screenshots, or verified dumps, despite searches across forums and news sites turning up empty. The buzz built on recent official DOJ releases under the 2025, blah, blah. And the point being that Trump over 1,000 times, but the claim was that this all surfaced on essentially 4chan as a dark web Epstein files leak. So they got the additional files through a leak is what they claimed, and it was a hack. But it was legitimate nonsense and strategically timed, it seemed to be. But it caught my attention because I saw what's his name, the Cabot Phillips, right? So he had a suspiciously timed kind of State of the Union episode that he released for his new show that he apparently is now pursuing and a host of, which kind of instantly, I mean, obviously understanding the Pizzagate connection to Cabot Phillips, I think is worth, here it was. So Cabot Phillips announces his brand new live news show, Wired in Live, premiering ahead of the State of the Union. And I thought it was kind of funny timing as well, just considering his connection to Pizzagate as far as the pizza tattoo, the strange posts on his Instagram profile and things of that nature. In his lip was pizza. And then there was, and there was another connection as well to one of his posts that were far too just revealing in a way.
I did want to mention before we kind of got off the topic of this, we mentioned that the search function went down. That was right in the aftermath of where people realized that Lutnick photo got taken down. That Lutnick photo of him at the island. It was right when that got discovered, that got taken down, and people made that highlight. And then within I think an hour or two after that, we had the search function went down. There's been all sorts of reports here and there, pretty much intermittently from people. I think I actually saw a CBS News story or something, which CBS, I swear, I really think the CBS thing, they've been pretty damn good on some Epstein shit really recently, and I really do think on the maybe I'm being too schizophrenic, but it is CBS. I do really think that is literally the Israel yelling at Trump, yo bitch, we got your balls. Yo, bitch, we're fixing to fuck you if you don't do what we want. I think that's what I think the steady stream of. I think that's what the steady stream of solid Epstein news coming out of CBS is right now.
Man. So Lutnick said he would testify now after all of this. He would go explain himself. And Bill Clinton, during his testimony, he was asked about Trump and he had his back. I don't know that Hillary did, but I told Austin we have provable lies for the bill because of the actual confirmable evidence of what Bill Clinton's involvement was. But Clinton and Trump seem to be giving fists and getting each other's back on this whole situation.
Yeah, Clinton said during his deposition to the House Oversight Committee, he basically said that Trump told him, we had some good, this is what he allegedly told him on the golf course when he grabbed Bill Clinton by the dick, right? He said, Clinton says, Trump said, we had some great times together over the years, he and Epstein, but we fell out all because of a real estate deal. I'm sorry it happened.
He quoted the news article. It's just Bill Clinton quoted the fucking news article and said that Trump told him that. It's just so what?
Funny to me. And his defense for the picture of him in the hot tub, Bill Clinton, I thought was too funny, man. I thought that
chilling
was
in Brunei with his homie.
Yeah. I never knew the photo was taken. This
didn't know
was
it was
taken
taken.
in
Yeah,
Brunei. I don't know who that is.
He was asked about Jean-Luc Brunel. So there's a series of questions. It was like, did you ever have a conversation with these people about Epstein or Maxwell? And it was a list of people. And Jean-Luc Brunel, and he goes, no, I don't think. And that's the only one he said, I don't think to.
Bill Clinton says he did nothing wrong. He's completely innocent. And also that we should just move on. So he's kind of carrying the pail for the same sentiment as the Trump administration. It's time to move on, and I see no difference in I mean, Hillary Clinton, she basically lost her mind, her composure in a way when she's asked about Pizzagate and
Frazzledrip to be relevant for a minute. I think
she really. I mean, when she claims under oath that she never even remembers meeting Jeffrey Epstein, I just think it's hilarious. And then obviously she holds a press conference directly after this, declaring herself as the victim is basically what happened. And
it's just like Lex Wexner, who should be standing in solidarity with the victims.
I
Staring
think
at Pam Bondi.
There definitely is a circus component to all of that. And then once again, not to get too schizophrenic, it obviously, both people have incentives to do it, whether they're in cahoots or not. But really, to that point, I mean, the whole thing she was upset about was that Lauren Boebert fucking posted out a photo of her, before and kind of sent it to Benny Johnson with this sort of like, I don't know, she looks so not happy right now type thing, and clearly framing the situation. And it was kind of a weird, far be it for me to come to the aid of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, but they actually, whenever they did finally agree to get deposed or whatever, because they initially were, kind of actually in contempt of Congress, they wanted to do it publicly. Probably for a PR reasons, for like, just for appearances. And then the committee decide, fuck that, we're going to do behind the scenes, but with that comes the rules. You can't do shit like that. And then, of course, they do shit like that, and of course, they get upset, which is trying to control the frame. But then I would assume probably in response, that's probably what got the videos dropped so quickly, because it was within probably 24, 48 hours. But either way, it kind of turns it into this stupid fucking low-tier bipartisan circus nonsense. But I saw so much of the tired talking points from Republicans about like, oh, they're going to answer for their crown, the Hillary Clinton, kind of leaning hardcore in the old Bill Clinton talking points, which there's something to that. But it's like, especially with Hillary, I don't know what we really expect to get out of her. Bill makes sense, but I don't really know what we expect to get out of Hill Dog. Like, it's not like she was going to admit anything, but like Bill's something.
He's in, and I agree with you. They should have been made public, and they did release the video of them talking, which I shared a clip with you, Austin. I don't know if you don't have to play it now, but it's of Bill Clinton being asked about. I think it's of him being asked about.
By the way, we got Krabs joining us. This is a perk you guys get as a patron in the second half of the show. If you support either me or Austin, so. He's going to hang out with us. We'll bring in on the other patron in a minute. So we can ask a few questions.
Bill.
Hang out. What's up?
I will say Bill is charming. Even in his 80s, he's charming.
I gotta admit, he's been pretty charming. I'm not going to lie.
No, yeah.
When did you first learn of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes?
I think in 2008 when he was prosecuted.
Okay, so 2008 when he was prosecuted. Now let me share another document with you. I'll share this one.
I'll add it back. Sorry.
Here, I'll put this one out there. So this is a plea letter written by Alan Dershowitz in 2007 that uses Bill Clinton as a character witness on multiple occasions. So this whole letter is a 27-page letter, and the whole thing is like, you need to make a plea deal, and it says Epstein was with the Council on Foreign Relations, he was with the Trilateral Commission, and this is why you need to give him a deal. And in that, he talks about all the things he did for all these organizations. Then he talks about the article about former President Clinton, and this is the thing that people seen about the Clinton Global Initiative, and he quotes Bill Clinton in this thing. So Bill Clinton's name is mentioned 3 times in this, and then there's only 4 other people whose names are specifically mentioned in what is a reference letter to get him the plea deal. The same month, on July 31st of this year, 2007, the federal prosecutors met with Epstein's lawyers, Alan Dershowitz, who Clinton was asked if he had ever spoken to Alan Dershowitz about Epstein or Maxwell, met with them, and they said, we'll drop the federal charges if he accepts the state charges. And then fast forward to September of 2007, he pens the actual deal. And so Bill Clinton, whether he knows it or not, was used as leverage, a character reference, to get Jeffrey Epstein that original deal that Bill Clinton says he didn't know anything about. So my question, I did send a letter to the House Oversight Committee, and I did call them and leave a message saying, the right question to ask is, did you know that you were one of the reasons, you were one of the 5 specifically named people, the others were powerful scientists who all helped try to whitewash, well, 3 of them helped try to whitewash his reputation after he got out of prison. One of them has never been asked about it because he's the head of the brainwashing industrial complex still in the military. Learned helplessness. Martin Seligman, part of the Unabomber's book was based on this dude. Brainwash soldiers into going to war. Never been asked about how Epstein funded him and how he helped Epstein get this letter. Neither is Bill Clinton. They're all in this fucking letter. So I said, you ask him, did he not know his name was used? Is it common practice to use a former president's name in a letter to help a sex criminal go from potentially facing life in prison to getting a 13-month slap on the wrist? And if you didn't know, when did you find out? Just now? Or did you find out sooner? Because that's kind of weird. And have you spoken up and say, take that plea deal back? Because you're calling the crimes horrific, and yet there's literal court documented proof, indisputable, that you helped him get that deal. Right. And I did not hear back from the House Oversight Committee on that.
Yeah, of course not.
We'll wait with bated breath. Crabs, what you got for us, brother? By the way, we do have a super chat, not from Austin's. I think you mentioned earlier that you I remember you did. You are dealing with a strike due to my foul mouth. I will work on that.
It was both of us, brother. It's all good.
Fire Pixie, $5. Is it your birthday? And congratulations on your daughter's soccer win, nigga Heil Hitler. Damn it! Now we're fucked again. I'm sorry. It's gonna keep me in Austin that gets the strikes for it, and I'm gonna be just fine. But it's not my birthday. No, it was recently my Facebook birthday, which I joked about that I hate because it's that day that I picked randomly when I made that account, and now once a year I have to deal with the annoying deluge of happy birthdays, and it's like it's this weird, like, I can't really say like it's not my birthday to all of them because that's just exhausting. So I just have to hunker down and go, oh, fucking hey, happy birthday. So yeah, that's what that is. But appreciate the $5. What's up, Krabs?
Not much, man. I did a bunch of venting in the chat. I don't know if you ever went through. We were going through wild shit. My main thing, like I always try and hit, but Brad fucking nailed beautifully earlier. Fucking everybody here needs to be fucking making real world connections, real world break table. Be talking about this shit in the real fucking world, making those real world connections. Just today, not to soapbox, but like coworker, like hard. Without getting into all the dumb details, I've been a lifetime atheist. Shit's changing on that, but whatever. But this guy's like lifetime Christian, Fox News, just like 45-7, something like that. Like that atypical, like, yeah, we need to be bombing Iran because bad guys. and had a genuine conversation today. Wasn't like Trump's a fucking faggot or deep state or schizo. Just what is freedom? What is evil? Guys, go back to the bare like, I don't know everybody's history in chat and here, but like I was dumb enough to join the service because these fuckers hate me because of my blue jeans and all that fucking. I can go back to remembering being that way.
You're not dumb, by the way. You're not dumb.
Thank you, and I'll take the thank me for my service and all that shit later. But
I just mean it's not. It's like they exploit our fucking mental vulnerability. So keep going. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. I appreciate that, but no, I'm also fully understanding. They've got 5,000, maybe 40,000 trillions of dollars. Fuck it, they have so many resources that you're gonna get got. Everybody's gonna get got, and not to like that. That's a great vector whenever you're having these conversations. Here's how I got. Here, like you got to establish these bridges. And the other thing is, if you're going to engage in this, you have to have some good knowledge, some good resources, something, not just the same trust me bro that we're fighting against. And don't be again, as a lifetime atheist, follow the word of fucking Jesus, spread the fucking word, but be knowledgeable enough to be able to spread that word in a graceful manner, or get out there, talk, spread that fucking word, guys. So
this is great. That's great, man. I like that. I like that. I'm actually tingling goosebumps with what you're saying, because that's an open-minded conversation with people that's not connected to a side, but is connected to just like learning and being willing to being changed about what you're hearing. For me personally, I think that's what it's about, and it sounds kind of like what you're describing and experiencing. And the idea of getting God is like we all got God at some point. We can all get God again. And I talk about World War I. There's all these letters they wrote back to Lord Northcliffe. They sent these. That's the British Propaganda War Bureau, and they sent these operatives with these literary agents around the world because people wanted to duke and lord at their parties because they respected them and they knew that people would just believe them, and they would just write back about how gullible the intellectuals in the U.S. were because they thought they couldn't get got, so they were the easiest to manipulate. And so like this idea that we're all above being manipulated is actually the weakness. You know, so the strength is recognizing that we do have that vulnerability, and I think that you put it very well. And you know, man, I don't know what's going on in the world at all, but like you seem very open-minded, and you're having open-minded conversations, and I think that's where it's at, man.
All right, Krabs, we're gonna let you go. We're gonna bring in John Black, one of the other patrons. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support, Krabs. Thanks for hanging out with us. John Black, you're with us. We might bring in Rage Child for the Piece de la Resistance, the last patron to join. I don't know, depends on how shit Candy is. I don't know. We need to cool it with drunk Rage Child. He comes, okay. Rage Child saying he's not drunk. I don't believe him, but I guess we'll try bringing him in after John.
He's not wasted, to be specific.
He's not wasted. I was like, oh, I'm not like blackout drunk. Yeah. I'll remember this tomorrow. All right, what's up, John?
You know, I was gonna say retarded nigger faggot.
Oh my god, dude! Thanks a lot, bro. I appreciate you, John.
But I swear,
you better be hooked up with both patrons now.
Listen,
for real.
I swear, Krabs just quoted 2 Peter 3:15, and he didn't even fucking know it.
Shit.
Like,
what if he knew it? Like he's just like really doing like a NSYNC song, like he's like macking on a chick, you know?
He seems like he's having an awakening, honestly. I respect.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask him later, but shit, that was great. Yeah, I want to rant about the war shit, you know? Like,
you fan, not a fan? Where are you at on it?
Well, you know I'm a libertarian, Jose, so you know I'm not for it. But like, war is gay, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big gay.
But I turned on the fucking notifications for like Drop Site and Zero Hedge and like all of the real time like war coverage shit, because like I'm so fucking invested in like fuck this shit. So since it's gay and I turned on the notifications and I'm keeping up with it, is that like watching gay porn?
A little bit.
Just watch
I will
gay
say
porn
I
side by
saw-
side and see which one stimulates you.
Get the parallel experience. Yeah,
I get what that's a good question though. Yeah,
will
Watching
say,
gay porn's inherently not gay though, so I
No,
mean,
really?
technically speaking,
I was
always
unaware
telling
of that.
people that's straight as fuck, dude.
I mean, it really depends on what you're doing it for. You never know. You could just
well,
have
to
some
prove I
like
can't get a hard
scientific
on,
questions.
Anyway, it's so like it's so fucking absurd. Like if you look at just the logistics of things and how it's just turned in. Like I saw a clip of Jon Stewart, and he's a faggot, and he was saying like Iran's like in a bar fight, and instead of just punching the person in front of them, they're like literally walking around and just slapping everybody.
I saw that, dude. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it was such a good fucking analogy from such a queer. And does Trump know how bad he fucked up? Or is he just retarded? Because like if you look at it, right, he's gonna lose the evangelicals because they're waking up. You know, I keep track of shit. The #1 book on Amazon right now in Baptist Christianity is all of the pseudepigraphal works. So like the Book of Enoch and shit. So people are out there and they're reading like intertestamental literature and they're asking questions. You know, like I go to this group that's like Liberty Minded Neighbors or some shit. I don't know what it's called. It's just a bunch of fucking schizo old people. But this lady gave like this presentation from like the founding of the Freemasons all the way up to like Barack Obama and Big Mike, like including like all of the line of Bush, the Bushes and how they relate to Germany and Hitler. And like, I'm like, holy fucking shit, this lady's a schizo, you know? And like, as Krabs was talking about it, you know, it's getting more and more acceptable for you to bring these topics up with people and they can relate to them because people are like it's across the aisle, you know, that it's completely obvious that we're in the pog zog and this motherfucker is ruining our country. There's a goddamn website that keeps up with how much money we've spent on the war already, and it's got to be over $2 billion by now. And
that's what I was actually going to reference, was that I saw your tweet earlier about the Iran cost ticker of the cost of war. Every dollar, every second counted. And yeah, it's legitimately quoting a statistic of it says Operation Epic Fury established costs since strikes began. 1.9 billion.
And Trump made a point to say during the State of the Union about how low gas prices were right before he made sure they got jacked up.
Yeah. Well, it helps when you seize Venezuela's oil just before you green light the conflict.
Everybody buy the tracksuit, the Nike Maduro tracksuit.
No, what's a great
Strait of Hormuz gets shut down. Sorry, Jose.
Sorry, and another high level of irony that occurred here with all of this Iran fuckery and the in the world geopolitics at play. You know all these like sanctions and stuff that we've put on Russia, all the economic warfare we've done, basically all of that has been blown the fuck out of the water by this, due to the fact that essentially this is going to cause this is going to reshift essentially the demand, and so a lot of people are going to be coming back to Russia kind of like, hey, we got to do some business. And they're obviously going to have a whole lot more demand, a little less supply. They're going to be able to drive that cost up. They're going to be able to fund this Ukraine-Russia war for a good long while. They're probably going to basically make up basically all of the losses from whatever. And that's with also, working out to their benefit and kind of creating a more independent economic situation all the while. So we've kind of done nothing but help them here in a weird roundabout long way.
And the fucked up thing about it is Iran had just got their first shipment of Venezuelan oil.
Yeah.
and both.
Well, Israel.
It's the gay oil. It's the gayest oil.
Israel. Sorry. And then both of the fucking war pigs. I don't know which one's butt fucking who at this time, but BB's talking about going to war with fucking India or some shit. and
he's
now
saying
Trump,
Turkey as well.
Turkey.
Yeah.
And now fucking Trump's like, oh, we're gonna go ahead and take Cuba too.
Yeah, Cuba was on the table.
He's like, so while we're out here just fucking shit up, we're gonna take it all.
BB's like, we're going to go to war with an uncontacted tribe, and
for real.
You know, like, okay, well, fuck it. You know, like if we're gonna be an empire, let's take Mexico and Canada too. Like, just fuck it. You know, like if
they always exploit their opportunities as much as possible in the moment, and I think that was the prediction of the lame duck session of Trump. Every single time a president's in their lame duck session, they fully leverage that political capital against us, right? And I think that it doesn't matter whatsoever that he might lose his base. Is he running in the next election?
I mean, if he does, it's going to be against Obama. So it's
right, which he probably could win legitimately. You know, probably not considering the level of criticism that has come off the back of the Epstein scandal. I think that alone would sink anyone's political ship. But at the same time, man, we have all the usual suspects coming out and basically providing their military industrial complex talking points directly from the CIA, essentially, is what they're doing. You have the Tom Cottons, you have even the Speaker of the House, you have every single person taking the opportunity. Marco Rubio, I mean, Netanyahu and Rubio are just saying the quiet part out loud at this point. They don't even care whatsoever.
At the phone, they're at a phone party talking about this shit.
And it's across the aisle too. You know, there's there's like a fucking those fucking reporters in Washington, the microphone in your face fuckers. Like they'll go over, to the other side of the aisle. I don't remember who it was that they got in front of, and they were like, how does the leadership of the Democratic Party feel about this? And he was like, who's the leadership of the Democratic Party? And just started dodging the fucking questions instead of saying and leveraging going, yeah, Trump fucked up. He fucked up our country by going to war. So like they're all fucking in on it,
Well, that's my problem with the notion of like tying it around an individual political puppet's neck. It's not Trump's policy. This has been 47 years in the making at the very least. Like we've been attempting to, establish and achieve a regime change operation in Iran for how long? I mean, it's just since the Iran-Iraq war, when we were financing both sides of the conflict, essentially, and it was really how it came to fruition. But the point being is that this is long-standing. You look at what the White House, they published this paper whenever they announced the operation on March 1st. And it legitimately says on the White House website, you can go to this published article, which explains away to anyone who is questioning or concerned with the outcome of this conflict. They provide so many different reference points for individuals of prominence who are in support of this conflict. And it's disgusting to see. But what did they describe it as? The first the headline of this article on the White House just website was "Peace Through Strength." President Trump, dude. President
Woodrow
Trump
Wilson.
launched. Yeah, this is the language they're using. President Trump launches Operation Epic Fury to crush Iranian regime and nuclear threat, and this is how they provide just the sort of bare bones of the conflict in itself.
Pete
Because
Hegseth convinced 315 this,
and they didn't even like lube us up for this.
Right.
They just went in dry. Like I could have crafted a better like propaganda campaign for this. Well, shit. When Drunk Raid Child comes on next, he could have fucking drafted a better propaganda campaign with this. They just were like, oh yeah, I think
they'll fuck around with it afterwards and just figure out what works.
They're gonna be like, oh, I think Israel was going, so we're going because they're our greatest ally, and then the $7,000 hit their account and then they send it right back to BB.
It does feel insulting being in the parapolitical world and spending so much time, because part of why I came from theory, being like, I hate the government, it all fucking sucks, it's stupid, it's gay, it's evil, and so I'm like, well, I start being like, well, what should I devote my my attention to? Maybe studying deep events and like how to understand the bare bones of them, and how to prevent this from happening in the future by like making awareness of it and yada yada. I'm like, how to see through, and now we've gotten to the point they don't even bother fucking doing it. So after all that.
It's like, we'll just do it, and then we'll just fuck around with a bunch of, we'll just throw out the talk. I mean, seriously, it's like, let's just test, let's test which one works. When Israel was about to get bombed, the U.S. was about to get bombed. This is a regime. I mean, and there was like 8 different explanations, and they're just feeling out which one works.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. You see, they said Cuba.
Said
we mentioned Cuba, that they're getting ready to do that. This might be the right quote. I think they said it was a unique and imminent threat. So that's what they labeled it as. And so that like it's some sort of threat to the United States or something.
Well,
which
that's what Trump said.
Yeah, that's what Trump said. Yeah,
it's preemptive strike. It's a defensive policy. It's in no way a declaration of war. That even Mike Johnson himself said this.
Right. So the declaration of war shit is just what the people out of power always pretend to care about. Yeah.
100%.
But so in response to people saying that or Israel pulled us into it, Trump said, actually, I think maybe we pulled Israel into it. I thought that we were going to be attacked was what I was worried about. Israel was definitely going to be attacked. And that was his explanation for it.
Did you see Sean Hannity ask Netanyahu that exact question?
No.
He said there are people that say, well, the prime minister of Israel dragged Donald Trump into it. I want to get your reaction to that. And it is so funny watching Netanyahu try and walk through this, dude.
So fucking great.
He's like,
it truly is. And
perfect
especially
supervillain in a movie is what he is.
100%, man.
Oh, niggas got the clip queued up.
Well, of Israel dragged Donald Trump into it, and as somebody that's been friends with him over 30 years, nobody drags Donald Trump into anything. Number one, but I want to get your reaction to that.
Well, you're right.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world. He does what he thinks is right for America. He does also what he thinks is right for future generations. And frankly, we're partners in that effort because I've devoted my life to securing the life of the one and only Jewish state. And believe me, it's been a struggle.
And I want to ask you this.
That's a Pete Duper's delight.
Does he have cauliflower ear? Has he been going some MMA style?
That would be interesting.
That nose nigger just straight up. He just straight
all right.
up
With
said,
that, John, you're out of here. You're done. Three strikes, you're out. It's about time to bring in Rage Child anyways. You met your nigger limit. I met my nigger's wits end with you. All right, I'm sorry. I should stop. Actually, I don't know why I'm like guarding the bag, like I'm protecting, because I felt bad because Austin got a strike, and now I'm realizing no, we're not even putting it on your YouTube, so it's mine. It's only mine that might get the axe right now. Oh, it's on yours too.
No,
Fuck
I
it,
get
whatever.
struck all the time.
I was trying to like tamp down it, but whatever. We still got to get Rage Child in here anyways. But I don't really particularly care. I just more feel bad that I fucked up Austin's shit. I don't care for the occasional strike.
Yeah, fuck
whatever. I
Austin
get a few more. I
anyway.
get a few more. Whatever. I just get a few more views on Rumble. The rare occasion that happens. It's not a big deal for me. But I feel bad if I did it to somebody else.
Love the hard R, John.
By being out here nigger posting.
Give me credit for nose nigger because that one's a new one.
I haven't heard that one.
It's pretty good. I like it.
It sounds like you're insulting a Jewish person, not a black person to me.
Exactly. That's the point.
That's why it's not racist.
It's more on you if you see it as
be
racist,
allowed on
really.
YouTube.
I hope Rage Child is so fucking blitzed.
Oh my god!
All right, we'll see how long he sticks around.
Is that the next? I love the bringing people. Like I love this is cool.
All right, see you, John Black. Appreciate you joining us. Rage, you're with us. You're our last feller, maybe like 10 minutes or so.
Are you blitzed, Rage Child? Like the accusation says. Your mic's muted.
Define blitz.
I can see it in your eyes. You're like looking a little downsy. You know, when you get kind of drunk, you're kind of like blank. There's less agency going on behind there. You know, there's less humanity in there.
I'm just sleepy is all.
Are you Samoan?
I can be if you want me to.
Oh my god.
What's up, Rage? You got anything? Do you got anything to add?
Where were we?
Nose
That-
hard R.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fuck. Where do I begin?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was just laughing at that fucking Netanyahu shit where he's Trump, he's the strongest leader of the world. And it's like, what the fuck? And how that's all kind of coming out. I don't know if y'all mentioned earlier about where they're like saying, I guess behind the scenes they're like talking about how like it's kind of like biblical and shit, where they're like, yeah, this is for, I guess like hyping up the soldiers and shit. Like,
dude, they're gonna recruit off of Charlie Kirk's death related to that. I guarantee it.
yeah, it's funny how this is all, you know, while it happens, you're kind of like, obviously we're all expecting certain things, and then you to see the full picture, which we still haven't seen yet, to come around. But you're like, oh my god, that's why it makes, you know, the little pieces start coming together and shit. Same with probably when you elect Biden and then you bring in all this kind of strife, and then you're like, oh, it's just gonna be a landslide for Trump next, and then it happens. And they're like, no more wars, and here we're all with this fucking the amount of money. Like, yeah, what it's been 4 days or something, or 5 days, almost a week, probably.
And Trump would say,
Saturday.
"See, this is no more wars. It's just a few 4 weeks wars. It's no more wars."
Right.
That's like how he brands shit. It's crazy.
I think they
only
killed
little segments of war.
It was like the Ayatollah. It was Khomeini and then 40 other members of the leadership in the government in Iran that were legitimately executed within this operation. So I mean, we're talking, and Trump himself legitimately discusses that, claiming that all the leaders are dead. Many of the leaders that they were actually
He died like a
considering.
dog.
He said many of the leaders we were actually considering replacing Khomeini with are dead as well, and it seems like that their intelligence on
Weekend
the
at
ground.
Bernie's Iran. I don't care.
I swear. But Netanyahu, I saw this interview with him basically saying that when Iran launched the counterattacks, right, the counterstrikes on Israel, he accused Tehran of targeting innocent civilians. Netanyahu did.
Yeah, I
And
saw that too. And he makes a
he-
big fuss about it. Everyone's like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Specifically, he says
he's like the king of
Netanyahu-
rage bait.
Yeah, he says he goes after tyrants. Netanyahu says he personally goes after tyrants, while Iran deliberately strikes civilians. He also claims that he and Donald Trump are now working together to save the world, obviously. And yeah, Netanyahu is deliberately engaging in a genocide at this very moment, and we have obviously provided too many examples of deliberate civilian casualties. You know, being I think just as far as maximizing those casualties and by design. But what you had mentioned about the almost religious context of the propaganda behind this conflict, it's the Huffington Post, so take it for what it is, you know. But they basically said troops being told Trump's been anointed by Jesus to cause Armageddon in Iran. So
Dude.
yeah, that's
Hey, one of those little kids could have been a future tyrant. It's like going back in time and killing baby Hitler.
We're
would do
future
it.
immigrant hockey player for the U.S. winning gold. So
It's
we don't
funny
even know.
it's funny you invoked Charlie Kirk, Brad, but I don't know if you saw what the latest on what Charlie Kirk would have said about this, because the old
Charlie Kirk AI.
Yeah, well, they haven't gone that far yet. They haven't.
His
gone
co-host,
there.
I think. We're
Yeah,
saying,
but his
right?
co-host, Blake Neff particularly, and I don't know, maybe some other guys chipped in on it, but
They had a
essentially,
Ouija board and they're all talking to him.
well,
They came to all of them in a dream also.
Martin Luther.
No, but they're just reinterpreting. I think you're frozen, Jose.
Yeah, he's frozen.
He's
Yeah,
got a
but
funny face.
I think I saw that clip. I don't think I saw it, but I think they basically said that he would have supported the war, what Trump is doing, and
That's
I think
what they said, yeah.
I think the clip. Jose, go ahead. You're not frozen anymore.
all right, what the fuck was I just saying? The frozen.
You're talking
threw me
about
off.
what TPO say, how they were characterizing what Charlie would have said.
Yeah, but essentially they were saying that he would have basically shut the
They
fuck
brought
up and
out
took
like
it,
a little
basically.
fucking Muppet talking.
He would have took it like a little bitch. They're basically like, well, he's open. They kind of alluded to like it was known his position because the whole lore is during the 12-day war he lobbied Trump. Now I think he was a little bit more forceful in his language publicly, But I do think, let's be real, he probably would have just took it like a bitch if it had gone much further.
That's like what I was criticizing right before he died, and why I felt bad. Like my friends of mine were like echo. I didn't even follow the guy, but then I started hearing people saying, "Well, I trust my friend Trump," and I was like, "Where is this talking point coming from?" And then I realized it was coming from Charlie Kirk, and I did not realize the scale of his influence until after he died. But like I was like going hard on him right before he died, and then when he died, I started watching some of his clips. And I was like, I think I might have gone a little too hard on him, but also I think he's a very good communicator. He's part of this organization that is very much a kind of a grifting organization. He was the best messenger for them. He was very good at what he did, and the whole thing about him, the fight to reinterpret what he would have said or what he would have done. I don't know, but I agree with you, Jose.
Yeah, he would have taken it like a bitch.
Shalom.
That's right. But it is shameful. I will say it is shameful of his co-host to do this to him because he was publicly. Well, because like even if you are going to try to look at him with rose-colored glasses, I feel like you would say that he would show some sort of heroism, that he would have, especially since he showed his position, he revealed his hand in the past on what he thought about an Iran war. So to say that he would sit there and just take it is kind of, I don't know, pretty crazy thing to do to the memory of your friend. But in a fucked up way, they're probably actually correct. Like he probably would have just shut up and took it, which is what he was already doing with the Epstein stuff, which is like what you said, where he was just oh, I'm just gonna, and honestly, with the Gaza stuff, that's what he was doing too. He was running. I'm sure you saw the stories he covered shortly before he died, where he was like, "What even is it to starve to death? How many calories do you really need?" Or whatever the fuck the story. But he did this whole he did this whole like, "Oh, this is clearly Hasbro or clearly blood libel nonsense." They're essentially kind of casting doubt on all of it. Meanwhile, people are starving to death. He was. It was just Iran though was the one that he sort of had a little bit of balls about. But even then, I think if they really had pushed it, I don't think they even really need to kill him. I think if they, if they just maybe that one time in the 12-Day War, maybe he bucked up. But if they had just like kind of let him live and just go back through the cycle, I think this time around he probably would have said a damn word.
He was the greatest messenger and would have continued to be so the way that what he was doing is, and I appreciate what he's doing. Like watching him on he was very talented. There's no doubt to go out and to go on those college campuses and get those arguments. Like that's anxiety right there. That's a lot of preparation. That's one of the things with candidates. Like he doesn't have to prep. He would never. Yeah. I've done so many stand-up and improv shows. Like I'm always anxious before them, and you're always trying to prep to be ready. There's no doubt he would have been prepping to try and do the best when he's starting a new tour, and he was very good at it. But what he seemed to be good at to me was recognizing what the tea leaves were and hitting them head on for the purpose of helping those who he supported better message. And they might not have always listened to them, but he did question things very well, but I honestly didn't see him very much wavering in where he was when it comes to support of Israel.
What's the over-under on Jeffrey Epstein's prostate? Did he have one or did he not?
He had the greatest prostate.
Because they said he got it removed and the autopsy said that.
Really?
Because he got, what does he call, like a prostatectomy. And
why would someone do that? For sex reasons?
It was something in the emails. I saw it on the Jimmy Dore show.
That's crazy, dude.
It said mentioned because someone emailed him was like, "Hey, so I'm just like not verbatim, but they're like, hey, so you have a lot of testosterone, but without a prostate, you need a lot of Viagra, something like that."
Dude, he had low T apparently at the end. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then in the autopsy, it was like saying that his prostate, like it mentioned his prostate in the autopsy. And which is a crazy thing to do in an autopsy, I guess.
It claims it was intact in the autopsy.
Really?
Yeah, and his balls were like
That's so I never would have thought that search term prostate
for real.
So I was looking up the proton mail thing, and I didn't intend to stumble into the dildo discussion, but this all like showed up with it, and dude, the dude. All these emails that came to him would be from like girls, and they'd be like, "Hey, what should I do better next time?" He'd be like, "Get get a bigger dildo and a better butt plug were like his answers. And I was like, gee, and that was like a common answer that he gave frequently. And then one time there was an email that a girl sent to him. And so he replied to this girl and he goes, look, I come back to my place and there's dildos and butt plugs all over. You didn't even clean up all the, like everywhere there's dildos and butt plugs.
Dishwasher safe. Put 'em in the
Yeah, clean it up. It's just
Did any of you guys ever like go through a phase where you were like a little bit of a player back in the day and like you'd have multiple chicks you'd be texting and you just kind of, you weren't even really interacting with them like human beings. You would just maybe have like stock, like go-to talking points that like whenever you're in a certain like tree, of wherever, whatever thing she said, like a troubleshooting tree for whatever a lady said. It maybe that's just like what it is. He almost has it like copy and paste. The answer is ready to go. Just like another get a bigger dildo and a better butt plug. That's just like the go-to.
And then there's the list of things the FBI took from one of his houses, and it's like dildo, butt plug, dildo, computer, butt plug, dildo, sex swing, computer, dildo, butt plug,
Bluetooth butt plug. Computer butt plug.
Dentist chair.
Epstein's prostate apparently is attached to the body substitution theory. Have you heard of this?
No, dude.
Okay, so this goes deeper than we realized.
Yeah,
man.
let's go.
So there's this email exchange that Rage mentioned where Epstein suggests he may have lacked a prostate because in the exchange he confirmed that one can have high testosterone and still need Viagra if they do not have a prostate. The autopsy report contradicted the email. Allegedly noted Epstein had an intact prostate. The inconsistency fueled speculation. Now here's where it goes interesting. Tony Rodham connection. So there have been allegations that Tony Rodham.
I hardly know him.
Yeah, well, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Yeah, well, that's because it's the brother of Hillary Clinton. And he died shortly before Epstein. And people are alleging that his body may have been substituted for Epstein's, and that this theory is based on perceived similarities in appearance, alleged discrepancies in medical records, and it would be some sort of detailed justification for why there's a discrepancy with the prostate. So that's obviously.
They also got emails about bloody doubles and shit.
Yeah.
By the way, I do need to get to bed, so you guys can keep going if you want, but we probably do need to wrap it to an end. I just realized what time it is. Rage Child, we're gonna kick you the fuck out of here. Appreciate you, brother.
Good to talk to you, Rage Child. Enjoyed it.
Good to meet
Enjoyed
you.
it,
Big
man.
fan.
Good to see you too. Thank you for not dropping an N-bomb, even though you are shit canned. So that's cool. And you actually didn't come off that drunk, so that's cool. So we actually had a good conversation. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I believe in you too, brother. Come back again some other time. We'll see you on the next one. I guess we can do plugs. Brad, where can people find you at?
At Freedom Act Radio on X, you can find all my links in bio. No feet pics. YouTube.com/Brad Binkley, Rumble.com, Prop Report, and Instagram Propaganda Report. And I do the show with Austin and Sam on Patreon.com/Propaganda Report and Prop Report. Locals.propreport, whatever. You guys can figure it out. Propaganda Report podcast, subscribe to it is all. But thanks for having me on, guys. I enjoyed it. Jose, it was good to talk to you, man. It was a lot of fun. I hope I didn't run my mouth too much.
Good to see you. No, you're fine. Fun time. Austin.
Man, I really wanted to cover the Kanakuk camp story. It's so fucking bad, dude. Yeah, I laid the groundwork. You know, I think it's very important. There's a clip I'll have to show you guys next week because it's fascinating. Please don't let me actually end the show until I get that done because otherwise I'll lose my fucking mind. But at the same time, I'm telling you that this is a long-standing child sex trafficking network and an avenue of opportunity for sex abuse to take place with these children in the most sinister way. And it's not getting much just acknowledgement or media coverage whatsoever. And seeing Sean Ryan connected to it as a potential subject for
the podcaster, Sean Ryan.
Yeah, for a defamation lawsuit against him specifically for discussing this widespread sexual abuse by having a victim on, I felt like it's worthwhile in getting into just for a brief moment because it gave me pause, made me think this could inevitably become a pretext for future litigation that could affect content creators like ourselves just for having the audacity and not having the resources right? To speak the truth about powerful organizations that can intimidate you through defamation lawsuits and threatening to go forward with these, which I think is exactly what Sean Ryan could. I'm not saying, because he looked, as far as he kind of the reflection
If
on
he's not
him
doing
was
it on
very
purpose,
positive.
he's being co-opted into it.
Exactly. That's how I felt whenever I kind of came away from this specific case. But yeah, it'll be worth just detailing for a brief 15-20 minutes on the next show, because it's something that we're still seeing. Unfortunately, victims who are
We are
being
under attack. Like, make that.
Yeah.
That's no doubt about that. Conspiracy theorists, people in the alternative media community, we are under attack, and we have been, by the World Economic Forum and the mainstream outlets who are trying to wrestle back trust from us.
100%, man. And these kids were just destroyed by NDAs, and I mean, there's one specific example of this kid named Trey Carlock, who's the brother of this victim witness who was brought on Sean Ryan's show, and he was silenced, right? And in 2019, at age 28 years old, after he was forced to go through this re-traumatizing civil litigation process against Kennecott and the Kennecott Ministries, their director, Pete Newman, groomed and sexually abused him specifically, and countless others when he was 14 years old. At this point, he was younger than that. It was during a 14-year tenure with Pete Newman where this took place, and it was obviously this popular Christian sports camp based in Branson, Missouri. But yeah, the point being, and I'll leave it at this, was that the kid was required to file civil litigation by the age of 23. And this is due to Texas civil statutes of limitations for child sexual abuse cases. And so this all happened at the time his abuse became known through a criminal investigation. But anyway, so he was forced, and many others, into settlements as John Doe's. And that included these very restrictive NDAs, which silenced the victims and covered up what effectively was taking place at Kennecott, and that all of the leadership and staff knew about Newman's sexual abuse and concealed it from the public and concealed it from the parents, and lied about it to the parents as well. And Trey told a therapist before his death, quote, "They will always control me, and I'll never be free." And then he died by suicide at age 28. So it's far worse than people could ever even conceptualize or comprehend for themselves. I think it's something that, I have hope. Our hope is to bring light and shine it into that darkness as much as we possibly can. And, if you want to internalize that in a negative way and become black-pilled or accuse others of that, I understand. But what value comes of that, and in what way are you attempting to again reveal the truth in terms of the sadistic nature of this underworld, this pedophile underworld that's so very well entrenched? It's shocking. But anyway, I'll leave it with that. I love you all. The Underclass Podcast, you guys know where to find me. Obviously, I'm sorry we couldn't stream to the channel tonight, but I should be back by next week, and hopefully we don't have any more run-ins like this with the YouTube overlords, because it's happened a few different times, but this is the first time I'm legitimately concerned that the channel could inevitably.
We probably will. Force Mommy just had one too. I saw she posted today. I had one recently. I think it's going to amp up, but nevertheless, we're streaming other platforms. But you do great work. You guys both do great work, and I love y'all's format too. I love getting to talk to y'all's listeners. It was cool getting to hang out.
Thank you, brother. Brad, you already know how much I fucking love you, man. You're my brother. Jose, I've told you a million times, but you guys mean the world to me. I hope you know that. Legitimately, I think about this and how grateful I am on a daily basis. So I appreciate you guys more than you know, man.
Well, I appreciate it, buddy. I love hanging out with y'all every Tuesday. For those who want to support what I'm doing, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can find the show on YouTube, Rumble, all the major audio podcatchers, and Twitter as well. That's at Tower Gang Jose. If you want to support the show the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/nowayjose2020. The lowest level is $2. It gives you access to early episodes. I do about 1 to 2 of those per week. Try to keep about 2 to 4 of them behind the paywall at any given time. Also give you guys access to ad-free RSS feed, access to Telegram, and access to the pre-show, post-show, and video calls on this show right here, Already Dead, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I also give a big shout-out to my sponsors, which is the highest level of my Patreon. The end of every episode is a big thank you for their support. My previous co-host entire gang at Learn Toad, also at Brigade D's, at ZOVRCK, at _ Vinzeal, Tim Tell, Jean Cleeble, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Tagos, One Hair Car for Kids, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vespule, and Jacob Wintergrad of Biblical Anarchy Podcast. With that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Join us again next week. Become an Already Deadhead. Hang out with us. Call in. We'll have the phone lines back next week when we have Jacob with us again, because we're too retarded to figure out how to run those. But appreciate you all. And from the times when they are down, give us money. Give me or Austin $2, and you can join in. You can join in with the video calls in the second half of the show. But with that, we're out of here. I gotta go to bed. It's past my bedtime. Love you all. Bye bye.